This week we are reading Tuesday of the Other June by Norma Fox Mazer. This story, the narrator June is being bullied by a girl in her swimming class, also named June. The narrator is relieved when the swimming class ends. When she starts going to a new school, however, the other June is there, and the bullying starts again. The narrator has been taught to turn the other cheek, but she has had enough. She finally fights back, ending the other June's reign of terror. In this story, you're going to need to know two literary terms. One is characterization, and the other is visualize. Characterization is, in many stories, they try to hold our attention because we want to find out what happens to the characters. The way a writer creates and helps us get to know his or her characters is called characterization. They can do this by describing the character's appearance, present the character's words, thoughts, and actions, present other characters' thoughts about and reactions to the character, and make direct comments about the character's personality. The other literary term is visualize. Certain details in a story help you visualize or form a mental picture of what is taking place. Notice ways in which the writer helps you picture in your mind the things being described. We'll stop throughout the story to talk about those two literary terms as they come up. Okay. Be good, be good, be good, my Junie, my mother sang as she combed my hair. A song, a story, a croon, a plea. It's just you and me, two women alone in the world. June, darling of my heart. We have had enough troubles getting by. We surely don't need a single one more. So you keep your sweet self out of fighting and all that bad stuff. People can be little hearted, but turn the other cheek. Smile at the world, and the world will surely smile back. We stood in front of the mirror as she combed my hair, combed and brushed and smoothed. Her head came just above mine. She said that when I grew another inch, she'd stand on a stool to brush my hair. I'm not giving up this pleasure, and she laughed her honey laugh. As my mother was April, my grandmother had been May, I was June, and someday, my mother said, you'll have a daughter of your own. What will you name her? January, I'd yell when I was little. February, no, November. My mother laughed her honey laugh. She had little emerald eyes that warmed me like the sun. Now, looking back up here, we have an A in a box that says, what details help you form a mental picture of what is happening? Now, the details that I pick out is that there's a mother and a daughter standing in front of a mirror, and the mother is almost as tall as the daughter now, because if she grows another inch, the mother will have to stand on a chair. So we know that they're about the same height. Mom sounds like a pretty nice lady. Every day when I went to school, she went to work. Sometimes I would stop what I was doing. She would say, lay down my tools and stop everything because all I can think about is you, wondering what you're doing and if you need me. Now, Junie, if anyone ever bothers you, I walk away, run away, come on home as fast as my feet will take me, I recited. Yes, you come home to me. You just bring your trouble, because I'm here on this earth to love you and to take care of you. What do the mother's words tell you about her? When I hear that, I think of somebody who it almost sounds overprotective. She wants to take all of her daughter's problems and make them better. We know in the real world that doesn't always happen, but mom seems to be very loving and caring. And she mentions that they already have enough troubles of their own, and I wonder what those troubles are. I was safe with her. Still, sometimes I woke up at night and heard footsteps slowly creeping up the stairs. It wasn't my mother. She was asleep in the bed across the room. So it was robbers, thieves, and murderers creeping slowly, slowly toward my bed. I stuffed my hand into my mouth. If I screamed and woke her, she'd be tired at work tomorrow. The robbers and thieves filled the room, warm darkness, and slipped across the floor more quietly than cats. Rigid under the covers, I stared at the shifting dark and bit my knuckles and never knew when I fell asleep again. Now, the C says, what details help you picture the nights when June gets scared? And what's kind of funny here is June doesn't wake up her mom. And the reason it says is she doesn't want her mom to be tired for work the next day. And I think we've all had those times where we've heard noises in the house and we got scared. Some of us may have woken up our parents, but June chooses not to. So they almost seem like they have a partnership going. The other thing that I notice is that they sleep in the same room. So that tells me they live in a rather small house, maybe don't have a lot of money, and I haven't heard about a dad yet. So maybe it's just those two. In the morning, we sang in the kitchen. Bill Grogan's goat was feeling fine, ate 3 red shirts right off the line. I made sandwiches for our lunches, and she made pancakes for breakfast. But all she ate was 1 pancake and a cup of coffee. Gotta fly, can't be late. I wanted to be rich and take care of her. She worked too hard. Her pretty hair had gray in it that she joked about. Someday, I said, I'll buy you a real house and you'll never work in a pot factory again. Now, what do you learn about June through her description of her mom? June really cares about her mom. And her mom works in a pottery factory and she works really hard. And June wants to take care of her just like her mom takes care of her. Such delicious plans, she said. She checked the windows to see if they were locked. Do you have your key? I lifted it up from the chain around my neck, and you'll come right home from school, and I won't light fires or let strangers into the house, and I won't tell anyone on the phone that I'm here alone. I finished for her. I know I'm just your old worrywart mother. She kissed me twice, once on each cheek, but you are my June, my only June, the only June. She was wrong. There was another June. I met her when we stood next to each other at the edge of the pool the first day of swimming class in the community center. What's your name? She had a deep, growly voice. June, what's yours? She stared at me. June? We have the same name. No, we don't. June is my name, and I don't give you permission to use it. Your name is Fish Eyes. She pinched me hard. Got it, Fish Eyes? The next Tuesday, the other June, again stood next to me at the edge of the pool. What's your name? June. Wrong. Your name is Fish Eyes. June. Fish Eyes, you really are stupid. And she shoved me into the pool. The swimming teacher looked up, frowning from her chart. No one in the water yet. Later in the locker room, I dressed quickly and wrapped my wetsuit in a towel. The other June pulled on her jeans. You guys see that bathing suit Fish Eyes was wearing? Her mother found it in a trash can. She did not. The other June grabbed my fingers and twisted. Where did she find your bathing suit? She bought it. Let me go. Poor little stupid Fish Eyes is crying. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Poor little Fish Eyes. After that, everyone called me Fish Eyes, and every Tuesday, wherever I was, there was also the other June at the edge of the pool, in the locker room. In the water, she swam alongside me, blowing and huffing, knocking into me. In the locker room, she stepped on my feet, pinched my arms, and hid my blouse, and knotted my braids together. She had large, square teeth. She was shorter than I was, but heavier with bigger bones and square hands. If I met her outside on the street carrying her bathing suit and towel, she'd walk toward me, smiling a square, friendly smile. Oh, well, if it isn't Fish Eyes. Then she'd punch me. Blam! Her whole solid weight hitting into me. Now, over here for characterization, what methods has the writer used to show readers what the characters are like? a lot of the things that I've seen, June seems like a very nice girl. Doesn't seem like they have a lot of money. They live in a small house. They have to check their windows to make sure they're locked before they leave. And June always seems to be trying to do the right thing, but she describes the other June as having big bones and square teeth and square hands, very sharp, angular things. And that almost seems like she's very intimidating and large, even though she's not as big as the other or as our June. Okay, and also, she hits her full weight, so she must be a pretty solid girl. I didn't know what to do about her. She was training me like a dog. After a few weeks of this, she only had to look at me, only had to growl, "I'm going to get you, fish eyes," for my heart to slink like a whipped dog down into my stomach. My arms were covered with bruises. When my mother noticed, I made up a story about tripping on the sidewalk. Now, based on what you know about June, the narrator up to this point, how do you think she'll deal with the other June? Well, you already see how she's dealing with it with her mom. Her mom asked her what the bruises are for, and this is a great opportunity for her to say, "Hey, mom, guess what? I'm getting beat up." But she doesn't. Instead, she makes up this story about the tripping on the sidewalk. This could be because she doesn't want to tell and get in trouble with the other June, but I think it's more because she doesn't want to have her mom worry. Because once again, she didn't go to her mom with her problems, so she probably felt like she was a little bit on the naughty side for that. My weeks were no longer Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. Tuesday was awful day. Wednesday was bad day. The Tuesday bad feelings were still there. Thursday was better day, and Friday was safe day. Saturday was good day, but Sunday was too soon day, and Monday was nothing but the day before awful day. I tried to slow down time, especially on the weekends. I stayed close by my mother, doing everything with her: shopping, cooking, cleaning, going to the laundromat. "Oh, sweetie, go play with your friends." "No, I'd rather be with you." I wouldn't look at the clock or listen to the radio. They were always telling you the date and the time. I did special magic things to keep the day from going away, like rapping my knuckles 6 times on the bathroom door, 6 times a day, and never ever touching the chip place on my bureau. A bureau is like a dresser. It's a kind of an East Coast term. But always, I woke up to the day before Tuesday, and always, no matter how many times I circled the worn spot in the living room rug or counted 25 cracks in the ceiling, Monday disappeared, and once again it was Tuesday. Now, what details about the house suggest that June and her mother don't have a lot of money? Well, there's a lot in here. They've got a worn living room rug, and they've got 25 cracks in the ceiling, and they've got a chipped dresser. Um, so there's quite a bit that show that they don't have a lot. The other day, the other June got bored with calling me Fish Eyes. Buffalo Brain came next, but as soon as everyone knew that, she renamed me Turkey Nose. Now at night, it wasn't robbers creeping up the stairs, but the other June coming to torment me. When I finally fell asleep, I dreamed of kicking her, punching, biting, pinching. In the morning, I'd remember my dreams and felt brave and strong, and then I remembered all the things my mother had taught me and told me. Be good, be good, be good. It's just us two women alone in the world. Oh, but if it weren't, if my father wasn't long gone, if we'd have someone else to fall back on, if my mother's mother and daddy weren't dead all these years, if my father's daddy wanted to know us instead of being glad to forget us, oh, then I would have punched the other June with a frisky heart. I would have grabbed her arm at poolside and bitten her like the dog she had made me. One night when my mother came home from work, she said, "Junie, listen to this. We're moving." Alaska, I thought. Florida, Arizona, someplace far away and wonderful, someplace without the other June. Wait till you hear this deal. We're going to be caretakers, troubleshooters for an 8-family apartment building, 56 Blue Hill Street. Not janitors. We don't do any of the heavy work. April and June, Troubleshooters Incorporated. If a tenant has a complaint or a problem, she comes to us and we either take care of it or we call the janitor for service. And for that little bit of work, we get to live rent free. She swept me around in a dance. Okay, you like it? I do. So not anywhere else, really, all the same, maybe too far to go to swim class. Can we move right away today? Give me a break, sweetie. We've got to pack and do 1,000 things. I've got to line up someone with a truck to help us. 6 weeks, Saturday the 15th. She circled it on the calendar. It was the Saturday after the last day of swimming class. Soon we had boxes lying everywhere filled with clothes and towels and glasses wrapped in newspaper. Bit by bit, we cleared the rooms, leaving only what we needed right now. The dining room table staggered on a bunched up rug. Our bureaus inched toward the front door like patient cows. On the calendar in the kitchen, my mother marked off the days until we moved, but the only days I thought about were Tuesdays. Awful days. Nothing else was real except for the too fast passing of time moving toward each Tuesday, away from Tuesday, toward Tuesday. Which words in the description of the table and the bureaus help you picture the objects in your mind? I really liked how they talked about the bureaus inching toward the door like patient cows. And considering how slowly they were moving and how slowly June's time was passing, it just seemed kind of a unique way of the author saying that. And it seemed to me that this would go on forever, that Tuesdays would come forever, and I would be forever trapped by the side of the pool, the other June whispering buffalo brains, fish eyes, turkey nose into my ear, while she ground her elbow into my side and smiled her square smile at the swimming teacher. And then it ended. It was the last day of swimming class, the last Tuesday. We had all passed our tests, and as if in celebration, the other June only pinched me twice. And now, our swim teacher said, all of you are ready for the advanced class, which starts in just 1 month. I have a sign up slip here. Please put your name down before you leave. Everyone but me crowded around. I went to the locker room and pulled on my clothes as fast as possible. The other June burst through the door just as I was leaving. Goodbye, I yelled. Good riddance to bad trash. Before she could pinch me again, I ran past her and then ran all the way home singing, Goodbye, 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 good riddance to bad trash. Later, my mother carefully untied the blue ribbon around my swim class diploma. Look at this. Well, isn't this wonderful? You are on your way. You might turn into an Olympic swimmer. You never know what life will bring. I don't want to take more lessons. Oh, sweetie, it's great to be a good swimmer. But then, looking into my face, she said, No, 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 don't worry. You don't have to. The next morning, I woke up hungry for the first time in weeks. No more swimming class, no more bad days and awful days, no more Tuesdays of the other June. In the kitchen, I made hot cocoa to go with my mother's corn muffins. It's Wednesday, Mom, I said, stirring the cocoa, my favorite day. Since when? Since this morning. I turned on the radio so I could hear the announcer tell the time, the temperature, and the day. Thursday, for breakfast, I made cinnamon toast. Friday, my mother made pancakes. And on Saturday, before we moved, we ate the last slices of bread and cleaned out the peanut butter jar. Some breakfast, Tilly said. Hello, you must be June. She shook my hand. She was a friend of my mother's from work. She wore big hoop earrings, sandals, and a skirt as dazzling as a rainbow. She came in a truck with John to help us move our things. John shouted cheerfully at me, So, you're moving! An enormous man with a face covered with little brown bumps. Was he afraid his voice wouldn't travel the distance from his mouth to my ear? You looking at my moles? He shouted, and he heaved his big green flowered chair down the stairs. Don't worry, they don't bite. Ha ha ha. Behind him came my mother, and Tilly balanced a bureau between them. And behind them I carried a lamp and the round flowered Mexican tray that was my mother's favorite. She had found it at a garage sale and said it was as close to foreign travel as she would ever get. Now, what does June's mother's attitude about the tray tell you about her personality? Well, I think she's kind of being a little bit tongue in cheek funny here. She likes this Mexican tray because it's the closest she'll get to ever going anywhere. So that's another kind of a joke about how little money they have. But she seems like she's very upbeat about that. The night before, we had loaded our car, stuffing in bags and boxes until there was barely enough room for the two of us. But it was only when we were in the car, when we drove past Abdo's grocery, where they always gave us credit, when I turned for a last look at our street, it was only then that I understood we were truly going to live somewhere else. In another apartment, in another place mysteriously called Blue Hill Street. Tilly's truck followed our car. "Oh, I'm so excited," my mother said. She laughed. "You'd think we were going across the country." Our old car wheezed up a long, steep hill, Blue Hill Street. I looked from one side to the other, trying to see everything. My mother drove over the crest of the hill, and now, ta-da, our new home. Which house? Which house? I looked out the window, and what I saw was the other June. She was sprawled out on the stoop of a pink house, lounging back on her elbows, legs outspread, her jaws working on a wad of gum. I slid down into the seat, but it was too late. I was sure she had seen me. Now, a word here, stoop, that actually means like the porch or the step area of a house. My mother turned into a driveway next to the big white building with the tiny porch. She leaned on the steering wheel. "See that window there? That's our living room window. And that one over there, that's our bedroom, or your bedroom." We went into the house, down a dim, cool hall. In our new apartment, the wooden floors clicked under our shoes, and my mother showed me everything. Her voice echoed in the empty rooms. I followed her around in a daze. Had I imagined seeing the other June? Maybe I'd seen another girl who just happened to look like her, a double. That could happen. Now, which details help you picture what it looks like inside the house and how it feels to be there? I really like the image that they gave with the clicking floors and how her mother's voice echoes. I remember moving into our house and hearing the same noises. So you're kind of always looking at the new senses that you get when you move into a house. "Ho yo, where do you want this chair?" John appeared in the doorway. He brought in boxes and bags and beds and stopped only to eat pizza and drink orange juice from the carton. "June's so quiet. Do you think she'll adjust all right?" I heard Tilly say to my mother. "Oh, definitely. She'll make a wonderful adjustment. She's just getting used to things." But I thought that if the other June lived on the same street as I did, I would never get used to things. That night I slept in my own bed with my own pillow and blanket, but with floors that creaked in strange voices and walls with cracks I didn't recognize. I didn't feel happy or unhappy. It was as if I were waiting for something. Monday, when the principal of Blue Hill Street School left me in Mr. Morrissey's classroom, I knew what I'd been waiting for. In that room full of strange kids, there was one person I knew. She smiled her square smile and raised her hand and said, "She can sit next to me, Mr. Morrissey." "Very nice of you, June M." "Okay, June T, take your seat. I'll try not to get you two Junes mixed up." I sat down next to her and she pinched my arm. "Good riddance to bad trash," she mocked. I was back in Tuesday swimming class, only now it was worse because every day was awful day. The pinching had already started. Soon I knew on the playground and in the halls, kids would pass me grinning, "Hiya, fish eyes." The other June followed me around during recess that day, droning in my ear, "You are my slave. You must do everything I say. I am your master. Say it. Yes, master, you are my master." I pressed my lips together and clapped my hands over my ears, but without hope. Wasn't it only a matter of time before I said the hateful words? How was school? My mother said that night. Okay. She put a pile of towels in the bureau drawer. Try not to be sad about missing your old friends, sweetie. There'll be new ones. The next morning, the other June was waiting for me when I left the house. Did your mother get that blouse in the garbage dump? She butted me, shoving me against a tree. Don't you speak any more, Fish Eyes? Grabbing my chin in her hands. She pried open my mouth. Oh, ha ha! I thought you lost your tongue. We went on to school. I sank down in my seat, my head on my arms. June T., are you all right? Mr. Morrissey asked. I nodded. My head was almost too heavy to lift. The other June went to the pencil sharpener. Round and round she whirled the handle, walking back, looking at me. She held the 3 sharp pencils like 3 little knives. Someone knocked on the door. Mr. Morrissey went out into the hall. Paper planes burst into the air, flying from desk to desk. Someone turned on a transistor radio, and the other June, coming closer, smiled and licked her lips like a cat, sleepily preparing to gulp down a mouse. And I like this. How does the comparison help describe the scene? It looks like the other June was planning on doing something pretty evil, and here she comes to make her plan go to action. I remembered my dream of kicking her, punching her, and biting her like a dog. Then my mother spoke quickly in my ear. Turn the other cheek, my Junie. Smile at the world, and the world will surely smile back. But I had turned the other cheek, and it was slapped. I had smiled, and the world hadn't smiled back. I couldn't run home as fast as my feet would take me. I had to stay in school. And in school, there was the other June. Every morning, there would be the other June, and every afternoon, and every day. All day, there would always be the other June. She frisked down the aisle, stabbing the pencils in the air toward me. A boy stood up on his desk and bowed. My fans, he said, I greet you. My arm twitched and throbbed as if the other June's pencils had already poked through the skin. She came closer, smiling her Tuesday smile. No, I whispered. No! The word took wings and flew me to my feet in front of the other June. No! It flew out of my mouth into her surprised face. The boy on the desk turned toward us. You said something, my devoted fans. No, I said to the other June. Oh, no, 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 more. I pushed away the hand that held the pencils. The other June's eyes opened and popped wide like the eyes of somebody in a cartoon. It made me laugh. The boy on the desk laughed, and then the other kids were laughing too. No, I said again, because it felt so good to say it. No, 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 no. I leaned toward the other June and put my finger against her chest. Her cheeks turned red and she squawked something. It sounded like, you. And she stepped back. She stepped away from me. The door banged, the airplanes disappeared, and Mr. Morrissey walked to his desk. Okay, let's get back to work. Kevin Clark, how about it? Kevin jumped off the desk, and Mr. Morrissey picked up a piece of chalk. All right, class. He stopped and looked at me and the other June. You 2 Junes, what's going on there? I tried it again, my finger against her chest, then the words, no more. And she stepped back another step. I sat down at my desk. June M., Mr. Morrissey said. She turned around, staring at him with a big-eyed cartoon look. After a moment, she sat down at the desk with a loud slapping sound. Even Mr. Morrissey laughed. And sitting at my desk, twirling my braids, I knew this was the last Tuesday of the other June. How has June changed since the beginning of the story? Right now, she seems super confident. She stood up. She didn't do anything violent. She just told the person that was aggressive to her to stop. And that's what that person did. Okay, well, after this, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be answering 2 questions on the quiz tab. So good luck.